Did you not at all trust, even though you had to work with them? The Israelis. You didn't trust them? Not as far as I could throw them. We don't allow the Israelis into CIA headquarters because they would always come with gifts, and the gifts had always listening devices packed inside them. And, if somebody brings you a gift, you x-ray it. It's a normal process. And we're like, you guys can't keep coming back here every single time trying to bug our conference rooms. So no more. What percentage of the time did gifts have bugs in them? 100%. Be quiet. No, seriously. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. I wish I was. 100% of the time they brought gifts had bugs in them. Yeah. We had a safe house in Virginia, and we would meet with them there. John, was that across the board with everybody that didn't trust them the most? Oh, yeah. What percentage of our guys you work with didn't trust Mossad? 100%. I'll give you another example. Okay, give me one you trusted the most. The Brits. I worked very, very closely with the Brits. Why were they easier to work with? Because our national interests are so closely aligned. Who did you not at all trust? All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Onto the foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Very intriguing subject. Why? Because the simple fact, this is the nature of the small hat wearers that is spewing out. Part of the Lord exposing Esau, his whole nakedness, is knowing who's who and what's what. Scriptures tell you, but there's nothing new under the sun. And what I mean by that, matter of fact, let me get that real quick, because it's kind of a point statement right here. So, no, Ecclesiastes, yeah. It's one? No, it's three. Three 15 says that which is been is now, and that which is to be already been. And the Most High requires that which is past. But the key thing to this is what that which is have been is now, which is men. Right? And what people fail to realize that there's reincarnations in the scriptures. So when you say, history repeats itself, it's not that history repeats itself, it's the individuals that come back doing the same thing. Doing the same thing as if, now I can get that one, Ecclesiastes again, 1 and 9. It says, the thing that have been is that which shall be, man, and that which is done is that shall be done. All the ideas, all the inventions, everything. And it says, and there's no new thing under the sun. So there's no new thing under the sun, meaning there's no actual new idea, new people, new anything. This is something that consistently, like it says right here in the NLT, history merely repeats itself. It has only been done before. Neither under the sun is truly new. So, yeah, history repeats itself because the same people do the same thing. It said, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us. Now I'm gonna get this other one real quick. Ecclesiastes 4 and 17. No, yeah, it should be this one. Yeah, 4:16. It says, there's no end of all people, even all that
has been before them, they also that come after shall rejoice in him. Surely this is also vanity and vexation of spirits. So when people ask $1 million question, who are the Edomites? Who are the Edomites today? And a lot of these fraudulent fake scholars will sit there and say, oh, they were been done away with. Well, if that was the case, then this scripture wouldn't exist. So the same characteristics that was displayed in the beginning of the time, this is why Job made a statement. Let me get that real quick. Job 30. I just want to go to the point. 30 and 5, it says, they were driven forth from among men. And that right there, because when you read up, it's giving you the idea of what men call Neanderthals. All right. There were many names: nomads, Neanderthals, and medieval times it was called the wild men. All right. And today, modern time, they're called Caucasians. And their history always exhibits shisty behavior. Behavior that's not of becoming of man that was created to be upright. That's why when you read Genesis, the 3rd chapter, it talks about when the Lord was talking to the serpent that shall eat dust. So serpents, what you call snakes, do not eat dust. The dust representation is confusion. So that lower state that they were, it happened in many times in a period of life. You know, that's why I brought out what I brought out, because the scripture says, he who's righteous, let him be righteous still. Who is wicked, let him be wicked still. So there's a constant thing, not thing, but there's a constant showing. It tells you in Sirach, the 33rd chapter, that good is set against evil, life against death. So the godly against the sinner, and the sin against the godly. So these are the two duality, that's what I'm looking for, is that's always going to display. So now when it comes to the behavior of these specific people, I'm going to read Job 30 and 5 again. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the rock of the valley, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. So the term Caucasian just means cave dweller. So the men that it was driven forth from, and this is how backwards the society is. They'll tell you civilization started with the Greeks. No. Civilization always existed with people of color. When you rewrite history, as the Greeks did, everybody went except for the land of Israel. He respected them. That's why they created a giant library in Alexandria, Greek. They took their history and reshaped it and reformed it of all the people that they conquered, all the brown people. This is where they had that insurgent of their society. But prior to that, they were nobodies. They were people that were base men. Wherever they went, trouble followed. Wherever they go, whatever they was amongst the other nations, like it says right here, I'm gonna read again, Job 30 and 5. It's very important. They were driven forth from among men. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read the NLT. They are driven from human society. And people shout at them as if they were thieves. So when you break down the word human, hue is a color, man. All man had come from the dust of the ground. So all man had color, human. So these people that's not normal, they display their behavior in a cutthroat fashion. This is real. So when you go into the Khazars were known for being the cutthroat bastards that nobody could trust. Fast forwarding it, all these people are known even amongst themselves. That's why I believe it was 109 countries that cast these people out of their countries. Not because they were being persecuted, it was because the behaviors that they were displaying. They was crying them as they was crying after a thief. Like thief, thief. You know, like brother was giving an example at his job, Elder Sabah, he said there was a crackhead around the neighborhood that was stealing people's things. So he came to the job site, the crackhead did, and tried to steal from the job site. The whole entire job site beat his ass up. Then they call the cops. And so normally people do not like thieves, period. Period. No matter how you try to make it cute, make it put in movies and like what movie I'm thinking of. Shit. It'll come to me. Oh, like Ocean's 11 and all these other things. They'll make it cool that to go out there and just rob somebody. And a man's nature, a man does not like thieves. Period. All right. So these people, St. John 10:10, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. That's the nature of these thieves. So when he said the stuff that he said, I'm looking at it like I already had other scriptures in mind. And that's the scripture I'm going to get real quick. Sirach 27:16. Who discovers secrets loses his credit and shall never find friend to his mind. Love thy friend and be faithful unto him. But if thou betrayest his secrets, follow him no more after him. So when you hear from another Edomite talking about who's the worst, and they sat there and said, yeah, these Israelis are the worst type of people to deal with, and they're known in history to be this way, and that's their nature. This is why the scripture says that the beast shall hate the whore. They play a dirty, filthy game that nobody likes. Sirach 14. I saw that 3. It says, riches are not comely to a niggard, and what shall an envious man do with money? He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others that shall spend his goods righteously. He that is evil to himself. So is not Amalek same household, that come from the same line of Esau, Edom? All right, he's one of the grandsons of one of the dukes of Edom. But look how cutthroat his nature is, that even his own don't want to deal with him. They see that he's not trustworthy. That's a big attribute. That's that is a big thing. All right, that's a very big thing. These things are not small matters, because there's always a boiling point. And the boiling point is eventually the Lord's going to put the spirit on these other nations to turn on Esau. Now, I read the story in, was it Second Chronicles 20th chapter. Moab, Ammon, and Edom came against Salakia, came against Judah, and the Lord did something unique. And what did the Lord do? He had those nations turn on one another. So that's what, this is why the Lord said, matter of fact, hold it. Hold that, and come back to that. This is what the Lord said. This, Luke 11 and 18, I believe. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? So this is a rhetorical question, meaning it answers itself. A kingdom that is divided against itself can never stand. So if these people going around ruling this world are completely divided against themselves, their kingdom is done, is over. Even though I was watching something earlier listen to this Edomite breaking down how Trump want to go after BRICS and give them the highest tariffs because they're aligned with Russia. Even got to the point where he said he's going to 100% increase Russia's tariffs, which is diabolical. But even amongst Esau, there's splits and division. So their kingdom is not going to stand at all. Okay? That's why the Lord made that statement, because they have to have some sort of agreement. And they did have plenty of agreements. But now we're seeing, this is why the small hatters, small hat wearing people, they call it Babylon. I mean, America, Babylon. They call America Babylon. They call it Edom. But they're using the U.S. government for everything. But they turn around and call America Edom. And they call it their brethren, okay, so-called white man, they call them Esau. Because they know what's going to happen to Esau. So this is completely divided. Going back to this, let me read that again. It says, Sirach 14 and 5, he that is evil to himself, which is his own kind, which is his own people, his household, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is the recompense of his wickedness. So he that envy himself is that's you lower than low. I have one more. All right. Let me get this. Jeremiah, I think it's 49. I'm thinking of. You know what? I'll start at 7. Jeremiah 49 and 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? And by this now, Teman is the land of Germany. Now, when you go into the history, when you read the scriptures and if the spirit is dealing with you, you come to realization the wise men of Teman were also small hatters. They were the scientists of that particular time. When you go into the history of Germany, all the that's why America and Britain and Russia, what did they do after World War II? They split the German scientists. So these are the wise men of Teman. Okay, it's not because they come from the bloodline of Japhet, because they dwell in the land. All right, because they also Edomites themselves. It says, "Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished?" Because what they was known for great inventions. They were known for doing things that was beyond its time. Right? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep O ye inhabitants of Dedan, I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If great gathers can't come to thee, will they not leave some glimmering grapes? If these by night, they will destroy till they have enough. So the Lord is doing the comparisons to an actual thief. That's Esau's nature: to steal, kill, rob, murder, defame, rename, okay, take other identities, adapt to certain situations, change last names. So the Lord's like, look, if grape gatherers, they will leave some. They have no choice. If they steal, they will leave something behind. But these people, they try to take everything. But so when the Lord comes back, He's going to take everything from them, literally. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. So throughout history, that's short history. What's been happening? We come to realize these people have been hiding. Revelation 20, is it 25? I'm thinking of no. 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, so that's literally technically going to um, when Jake ruled the Roman Empire until the Roman Empire fell, which was technically the Ottoman Turks. For 1,000 years, these particular people, all right, the wild men, these Khazars and so forth, they was kept in check. The Lord allowed them. That's when you go up further up. The Lord allowed them to come out of their condition to fulfill prophecy. Remember Genesis 27, 40, 41 had to take place. And that was part of the cycle of them breaking the chains off their neck, which is prophecy. It's been done twice. It was been done after Solomon, one of Israel's greatest foes, rose up out of Egypt, which was Esau, and also after um, the fall of the Ottoman Empire, there was a rise of Esau. It says Satan shall be loose out of his prison, and that's the looseness. That's not talking about the demon Satan. That's talking about these actual people, history. And they shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. That's why they created intelligent, they call it intelligent spies. You have here in America, you have the CIA. Britain has an M5. I forgot Russia. I forgot. It'll come to me. Russia got their special forces, but the focal point would be the Mossad. The Mossad now, their mantra or their slogan is to deceive. Was it deceive as necessary? Something like that. I don't look it up, but that's their slogan. So the spy game is them going out there deceiving the world. It started with the Rosicrucians after 1400s, going out there spying, sending out spies to these intelligence, these quote unquote intelligent organizations, and they have spread their lies throughout the four corners of the earth. The CIA and the Mossad and is it M5 or M15? I believe they have been overthrown governments. All right. Now it says, which are in the four quarters of the earth, which is northwest, southeast, stretches basically anywhere in the earth. It says Gog and Magog, which is Gog from Gog and from God, which is the land of Russia today, to gather them together to the battle. So all this military deception and all these things that they've been doing is for that great war, which is called Armageddon, and they're responsible for that. This is what Albert Pike and Mazzini, one of them wrote. They wrote each other, and they had 3 world wars stated, so that way they could usher in and completely bring in a new world order. So they had to work things out, put plans in motion, so to get the results that they want. But it's going to lead to what? To that great war of Armageddon. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Okay. So let me get back to this. Which one else? Oh, back to Jeremiah. So all these secrets I just make mention of, these are all part of Esau as being his secrets is being exposed. It says, verse 11, leave the fatherless children, and I will preserve them alive. I will let the widows trust in me. Because when that great slaughter takes place, ain't nobody going to be able to aid this people. Lord's going to have to preserve these devils. For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have been surely drunken, which is Israel. True, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's what the scripture says. Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Our nature is not to be in the conditions that we are in. All right. That's what Solomon vision. He said, "Yeah, I seen servants upon horses and princes as servants walking the earth." Roughly paraphrasing. So the servants that's on horses is people that's in position of power. Horse represents power. Okay, that's why you had the statue of what it was, Teddy Roosevelt. You had a Native American on one side and a Negro on another side praising him because they're in the position of power. For thus saith the Lord of hosts. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that already. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. So that is speaking of what? Said destruction, nuclear destruction. I've heard a rumor from the Lord, which is going to Gomar Nassa, the 6-day war. He stated, making a statement was, how can the Jews leave here black and come back white? It says, and the ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and raise up to the battle. And that's what happened. You had the 6-day war, which was backed up by the U.S. and Britain to keep these small hat wearing people in position of power. But that was all prophecy. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. So there you go. Wherever they go, they are hated, even amongst their own. The French hate the French, the Spanish, they hate the Americans. The Canadians hate the Americans. However, who's the most hated of them all? The people that dwell in that land that's called Israel. Those Israelis. They're terribly, they hate them. They don't trust them. So all this distrust and this hatred is going to lead to the destruction of them. It ain't no comeback. Esau is done. It says that thy terribleness have deceived thee, that pride of thy heart, oh, that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. And that's all you see is pride. Intelligence, right? Is all about the intelligent game, what you have against your enemy. Well, come to find out, all of the stuff that they have towards one another, they hold secrets. This person popping goats and so forth. All of that is detrimental for their health, because the Lord is going to wipe them out. And he's going to use Esau to wipe Esau out. And he's going to come himself to finish Esau, period. It says, that dwellers in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height, the hill, that shouldest make thy nest high as an eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. And the Lord has brought this man systematically down through the process of time. All right, the Israeli got dirt on the U.S. The U.S. got dirt on the British. The British got dirt on the U.S. And nobody's gonna touch the Israelis. They're the top of the food chain, but they hated even amongst themselves. That, my friend, is what you call divide and conquer, and that's all orchestrated by the Most High Himself. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell there. So this is going to be a forbidden zone. This is the result of what the Lord is planning to do to Esau, Edom. So with that being said, it was something real quick. Shalom to the elected nation Israel. Shalom.